What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Welcome to another installment of Micro Brand Monday. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at an offering from the watchmaker Hervé. I've never heard of them. That is until they wrote to me asking about being a part of Micro Brand Monday, and we thank them for the support and the sponsorship. So without further ado, let's tell the dang time. It is 3:16 p.m. Let's get down to business. All right, guys, let us crack this box open here. Kind of standard paper outer box. And then pop this off. Ooh, got like a nice leather going on here. Let's get you in focus, yeah, get up close. All right, guys, so I've removed the watch from the packaging and I've taken us a little bit closer. We can see it's kind of like a black dial, but in certain light, it almost gives off like a slate color, and the second hand is sweeping smoothly across those indexes. Now, this watch is the Hervé Alvia, but what's interesting is when I looked at the packaging that they sent me, there was actually two more boxes in there, so I guess we have to open up these as well. Let's do it. All right, guys, so remember when I said that this almost looks slate in certain light? I may have spoken too soon because in the packages, the additional packages, I should say, there was like actually a slate dial variant. Now, not totally, like here, when we get it kind of in the shadowy light, we can see that's kind of more of a slate color, but then it's really like a sunburst silver. I really do like the contrast between the kind of black handset, the white second hand, and then we have a dark chapter ring going over, or I should say bordering that kind of bright silver sunburst. And then here, the final colorway they are offering currently is this blue sunburst pattern. Again, really nice contrast with the black handset, and then they've retained a white chapter ring, similar to this, which was the initial one we took a look at, which is the black dial, again, with that white chapter ring. So I don't know which one's your favorite. For me personally, I think first impressions, I gotta go with this silver dial. It's just the most dynamic in my opinion, and I kind of like the difference here, coming from dark with the handset, light with the center dial, and then dark again with the chapter ring. Very, very fun, and just kind of sharp, modern, maybe bordering minimalism, but not really. It's still, a proper watch, not too Bauhausy in my opinion. I just, some people love that, not me. Oh, okay, we're seeing a threaded crown, and I don't know if you've noticed, but these watches are all in sync. Let's go take a look. That's right, guys, very satisfying to the eye. These watches have all been hacked down to the second hand, and that's because these watches are all hacking and hand wind capable because they utilize a Seiko Instruments NH35 automatic movement. And that's really all I have to say about that, because chances are, if you're in the watch world, you have a ton of experience with that movement. I mean, guys, let's face it, how many micro brands have we looked at that utilize this movement? It's a workhorse movement, it's reliable, it's accurate enough, it's everything you need, nothing you don't. Automatic, hacking, hand wind, date complication. However, you don't see a date window here. Once again, this is another watch that utilizes a, quote, ghosted date. All right, so the movement does have a date complication, but the watchmakers decided to, design it without that date window. So, it's just a design choice. Some people love it, some people hate it. When I reviewed my Yema speed graph, people got very upset when I said that it has a ghosted date. People are like, what? I'm paying over $1,000 to have a date window be hidden? And it's just kind of a design choice, guys. I don't think you don't have to take it that personally. But hey, I've said it many times on this channel. I think the date complication is one of the most useful complications a watch can have. And I think a lot of people also feel that way. But that being said, I don't think every single watch and not every single design calls for a date window. So, you know, different strokes for different folks. But yeah, Seiko Instruments NH35 automatic movement in these watches. Let's flip these watches over, take a look at the case back, because there might be something to see back there. All right, and we can see that is a display case back showing off that Seiko NH35 automatic movement. And for you freaks out there, oh yeah, remove that protection. And yeah, I mean, again, it's everything you need and nothing you don't. I don't really need to spend too much time oohing and ahhing over a Seiko NH35. We can see the rotor has been minimally decorated, I suppose. I mean, it has the Hervé logo, but nothing crazy going on back here, but, you know, looks tidy at least. Nothing out of the ordinary. All right, so here I have the black dial variant in my hands once again, and I want to talk about the specs. So we can see a little bit of distortion coming off that crystal, and it is utilizing a double domed sapphire crystal. We can see the crown is signed with that Hervé logo. One thing I will say, I've already kind of messed with the crowns a little bit to hack the watches. Very nice serrations on the crown, very grippy, I like it. Now, here's the first kind of quirky thing about this watch that I've already noticed. It utilizes a threaded crown. Normally, I would be hooting and hollering, being like, hey, heck yeah, brother, I love threaded crowns. Of course, a threaded crown is where you have to screw and unscrew the crown to set the time. That's a great thing to see, right? Added water resistance rating. Of course, it also protects the crown stem so that once it's nice and threaded, if you were to knock this crown against something, the force wouldn't just be put directly into the crown stem, breaking it off into the movement. That's always a headache. No. Now, because the crown is affixed to the case, the force is dispersed, and it's just much more of a resilient build. Now, the quirky thing about this having a threaded crown is that this is only rated to 50 meters of water resistance rating, which is, I'm not really going to complain, it's just interesting. Like, I have watches that are also rated at 50 meters, like this LL Bean Dial 9721 RAF limited edition Hamilton that has a push-pull crown. So, and I also have watches that have push-pull crowns that are rated above 100 meter water resistance rating. So it's just kind of interesting. I kind of expected this watch with its 50 meters just to have a push-pull crown. They chose to give it a threaded crown. I'm not really going to complain because I dig it. It's just kind of quirky. All right, guys, so sapphire crystal, stainless steel case, Seiko NH35 automatic movement, hacking hand wind. We got a threaded crown with a 50 meter water resistance rating. Now let's spend a few moments and talk about the overall aesthetic of these watches. And we're going to cycle through the various colors that are offered here in front of us. We can see it's kind of minimalist, like I said before, not totally like Bauhausy, but definitely modern. If you like kind of a minimal, modern, sub 40 millimeter watch, we're going to talk about that in a moment, then this is definitely an option for you. One thing that I think is a total plus about these watches is that not a whole lot of text on the dial at all. We can see Hervé, very, very kind of small-ish font, a bit stylized and not kind of off-putting in any way. It's just there, but it's not taking up a whole lot of real estate on the dial. And I don't know, a lot of people like that. A lot of people are very off-put when there's too much text on the dial. And me personally, I'm more of a font guy. If the font is weird, then I don't like it. But this, again, nothing offensive about it, so I dig it. Now, personally, one of my favorite parts about these watches is, believe it or not, the handset. I think that it's a very clean contrast with the brightness of the dials. Of course, one of the dials is black, so that's obviously going to be a dark dial variant, but with the blue and then this kind of silver gray, I really, really like this kind of piano black handset. I think it's just very, very clean. And the second hand, how it's white and clean and just gliding over these different dials, it just looks very, very nice. And of course, you are getting a little splash of red from the automatic down by the 6 o'clock. But again, other than that, no real text or anything on the dial. Now, speaking of not having really anything on the dial, the indexes, they're not applied. So there's literally not anything but the handset on the dial because yeah, there's not as much of a dynamic look as I'd like as far as indexes go. I like to see different depths. I like to see maybe even texturing on the dial, but this is very, very minimal. So again, if you are someone that doesn't like to have anything mucking up the dial, this is an option for you. If you're like me, that likes to have applied indexes, likes to have different kind of depths and shapes on the dial, then you might want to look elsewhere. Now, what I will say is if you peek over by the chapter ring, you can see the center dial is raised a little bit off the chapter ring. So there is a bit of dynamic design going on, but again, not a whole lot. And that's not a diss, because some people don't like that. So yeah, if you are more of a minimalist watch wearer, then again, you should check out this Hervé Alvia. Now, I do want to take a moment and kind of close in here on the case finishing. We can see a very sharp cut here on the lugs. We can even see the brushed grain on that stainless steel. So yeah, some pretty sharp finishing. No dual finishes. So if you're looking for something polished and brushed, or just overall mirrored, that's not the watch for you. This is all brushed everywhere. I think it's a very sharp look, and even on all three watches, very nice finishing when it comes to the stainless steel case. And I've opened up the crown of the silver dial to the final position to show off that threading. And again, one big compliment is that the serrations on this crown, very aggressive without being uncomfortable, but again, your fingers aren't going to slip. Very easy to actuate that crown. Okie dokie, dudes and dudettes, let's go ahead and measure this watch. Now, earlier I said sub 40 millimeters. Well, how would I know that? I didn't measure it. Well, I think I've been around watches enough to kind of have a feel for it, and this definitely does not feel like even a 40 millimeter watch, but let's see if I'm accurate or not. Okay, at its widest point, excluding the crown, 38.2 millimeters, so just within that 40 millimeter sweet spot. Let's go ahead and check out the lug to lug. 46.3 millimeters, so well under 50 millimeters for that lug to lug. 12.2 millimeters thick, not too shabby. Let's throw them on the wrist, yeah? All right, here it is, the blue variant on my 7.5 inch wrist. The watch really does play with the light quite well for not having a ton of, dynamic depth. There's no applied indexes or anything, but still catches the light, plays with it quite nicely. The next criticism I do want to give this watch is that the factory straps, very, very stiff and almost cardboardy. If you're going to get this watch, change the straps out for sure. For reference, my wrist is 7.5 inches. Let's go ahead and let's do the black one next. And actually, before I put this black one on my wrist, because I kind of criticized the strap, let's go ahead and measure the lug width, because that is going to, okay, so 20 millimeter lugs. So if you were to get this watch, just invest in a 20 millimeter strap for sure. Oh yeah, wears very nicely. For a vintage guy like myself, having a 38 millimeter and some change watch, that's great. And I love that double domed crystal. Sapphire, baby. Really nice distortion coming off from that. My opinions may have changed. I think the black dial might be my favorite out of these three colors. But let's go check out the silver dial. Alrighty. Really nice contrast coming from that handset and that dark chapter ring on this silver dial variant. Again, the straps just not great in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. It's between the silver and the black for me. No offense, blue, but the silver and the black I think look the best. Man, you know what? I think the silver is still my favorite. Silver reigns supreme. All right, guys, it is time for the Lume test. Not the best, guys. Not the best. Yeah, again, no applied indexes. The indexes aren't very big, so there's not much lume on the dial. All right, guys, so here's what I'll say. After spending a few moments with this Hervé Alvia, what do I think? Well, pretty standard specifications, nothing crazy. Like, I'm not overly wowed by anything about this watch. There's not some ridiculous complication. There's not some ridiculous material used, but everything in this package is very well put together, right? Stainless steel, sapphire crystal, kind of clean, minimalist overall look, kind of interesting dial and then chapter ring layout, but that's kind of the extent of the dynamic design. You are getting a threaded crown, however, only a 50-meter water resistance rating. Very nice case finishing. I think that's probably what stood out to me more than anything else. You are getting a display case back with a pretty, standard but prolific NH35 automatic movement from Seiko Instruments. And we have to kind of put all this together in our heads and compare it against the price. Well, you have a black option, you have a silver option, and you have a blue sunburst option for $360 a pop. Now, again, with Microbrand Monday, you'll almost never hear me say, you gotta go out and get this right now, absolutely, blah, blah, blah. No, because I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to do my job and just review the watch. And, I'll tell you what I think. I think for $360, there are, other options out there. However, this isn't like overpriced for what you're getting. I'm not going to say $360 is overpriced for this watch. You are getting an interesting, minimalist, somewhat unique watch with an automatic movement. Very nice design overall, good build quality, very nice finishing for under $400. If you want something that's well under $500 that is unique, not something everyone's seen everywhere on Instagram, something that you could actually, show and have a conversation about. Oops, as I drop the watch. See, this is why microbrand watches get destroyed, is because reviewers like us drop them on the table. No, but seriously, I think that this is a good option out there for well under $500. But guys, what say you? I know if you're someone like me, this whole minimalist vibe might not be your thing. You might think it's kind of boring. But for those of you who really do like the whole modern aesthetic, this could be right up your alley and you won't be breaking the bank. So guys, please leave me the comment and let me know which one's your favorite out of the 3 different colors. So guys, I want to thank you for hanging out with me on this new installment of Microbrand Monday. I want to thank Hervé, I hope I'm pronouncing them right, for sponsoring this episode and sending me these 3 watches to review. Now, of course, I am going to be going ahead and sending these out to Hervé so that they can send these to other reviewers. But we can't make this content without these companies sending us their products and having me review them. And it really does show us that they stand by their products, because I am fairly critical and opinionated, as you guys know. And, I do my due diligence looking at these watches and really critiquing them with these macro lenses. So, yeah, it shows guts to all these companies that want to take part in Microbrand Monday. So viewers, manufacturers, my channel members, and everyone else that's here, thank you so much for getting me. Let's see, we're right around 145,000 subscribers. I think we're just under 145,000. So that's insane. Thank you so much, guys. Seems like this Microbrand Monday series is a hit, and I'm very thankful to be able to make this content for you. I think Siri thought I was talking to her. She's like, what do you want? Time tell it. Oh my God, Siri, shut up. I'm doing a video right now. God. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And yeah, I will see you on the next installment of Microbrand Monday, or any of the other episodes we make here. Because, guys, it's not just Microbrand stuff. So, guys, check out the links in my description below. It'll take you to my Amazon affiliate store. Check out my personal website, www.thetimetollershop.com. Join the channel, $4.99 a month. Gets you access to the members-only Discord chat and 6 pieces of content a week. And yeah, stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.